Well, hello again. Here we are with a new project. A new customer called the other day, had this Takamine acoustic that he wanted to have a pickup installed in. He'd called around to several places in the area and no one had a under the saddle pickup that would work on this guitar because it has the split bridge saddle. So I suggested to him, I knew what the guitar was and knew how it was made. I had made the suggestion to him to use a K&K. A lot of customers are using these pickups. They actually fasten under the bridge plate. Everything's unobstructed, so it works out pretty well for these. So usually with the K&K installation, you use a template for a flat, straight bridge saddle that they have that involves keying it up with the bridge pin holes with dowels and golf tees, a plexiglass guide and everything that they provide. It works really well. But again, with this guitar, it gives you another issue because you don't have any bridge pins. So the typical process to put one of these in this guitar or in a guitar with a pinless bridge is to use a glove and some double-sided tape to hold the pickup to your finger, to hold it in there to glue it. I don't particularly care for that system. It leaves too much room for error. I like to have things lined up perfectly under the bridge saddle because all these piezos work off vibration. You need it to have good contact and needs to be placed properly. So the plan is I'm going to make a template guide out of plexiglass. I'm going to use some pins. I'm going to drill locating holes through the bridge saddle slot, which again K&K recommends for a pinless bridge. But I'm going to have to do this a little bit differently. As I've mentioned before, I have a lot of little homemade tools, simple tools that I use in this shop. I believe in these little helper tools, as I call them. I like to spend less time making the tool than I do doing the job, but then still have something I can use repeatedly and have on hand. So as I say, the plan is to make this guide, and we'll get into that more later. So hang tight, we'll be back. Well, we're back. It's been about a half hour. It took me about 25 minutes to make this little guide template, and what it consists of is a little piece of 1/8 inch thick plexiglass. It's been cut to fit between the braces and so on inside the guitar. I've taken my blade of exact 0. As you can see, I've scored a center line and the locations of where the strings pass over the bridge saddle. Those are very important. You're going to use those to line up the position of the pickups. What else I've done is I have drilled holes in the bridge to handle these locating pins, which of all things are ending up being a set of toothpicks. That works out really well because the ends are tapered. It will let the guide slide down over them and line up really easily. So that was something I found on the spur of the moment that I thought would actually work out really well. I've got quite a bit of length, so I can actually put them down deep in the guitar to help line it up from the inside. Everything fits tight enough that this will actually help clamp the pickups in place while the glue dries. Something else I should mention when I'm talking about drilling holes in these bridges, anytime I'm doing a pickup install or drilling anything on top of a guitar like this, I don't like to use a hand drill. I actually use a tool that I refer to as Glen. Most of my tools are named because in this case I use this little hand drill The reason it's named Glenn is actually a customer gave it to me. It happens a lot. They'll either give me a tool or as a tip they'll give me something, or they just say, well, thanks, here. Yeah. So it's always appreciated. This gentleman has passed on. So it's one of those things that every time you use it, you have a little respect for the past. I've probably had this drill for over 30 years. It's still holding up really well. I don't do a lot of heavy work with it, but it's very handy. Plus, another thing with not using power tools is it's a little harder, a little more involved, but as some people would think, it has actually mojo from doing it. So that's a side benefit. So getting back to this jig, what we will be doing is using it to line up the pickups. We'll actually be sticking the pickups on the jig with putty to hold them in place as you glue them into the inside, as K&K recommends. So this will allow us to do a whole lot more professional job. I can place them exactly where I want them. The balance should be better instead of just guessing and sticking them in there by hand with a glove with double-sided tape stuck on it. So I can use this jig. I can throw it in my bag of K&K installation tools, and the next time a customer asks me if I can put a pickup in a Takamine guitar with a split saddle, like I said, I got you covered. It won't be a problem. So I think that this is 25 minutes well spent. It'll actually be pretty handy for later. So I'll get back to you in a few minutes with the finished job. Okay, well, here we are. We're all finished up. The pickup's been installed. The strings are back on. I've cleaned up guitar, wiped it all down. Here's what we've got. It's pretty balanced. Doesn't sound bad at all. Pretty handy little volume control right here. So we will let this fellow know that his guitar is done. We'll see if he's happy, and we will carry on. So until next time, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Play pretty, and I'll see you again later.